What is going on, RP fam? Hope you're having a great week. It's Thursday, which means I have tight ends and defenses coming at you in this video. I'm gonna go over the top 15 options in each position, get you guys all the information you're gonna need to make some educated decisions, and that way we can crush our opponents in a crucial week 12, go get a dub, and make a push for the playoffs. Now, if you are new to the channel, couple things to go over. Relentless Press has videos Monday to Saturday. I'm dropping them every single day. I usually do multiples per day, and I'm doing over 10 per week. So if you not subscribe to the channel, you just might miss something, and we do not want that. If you find yourself enjoying the video, crush the like button for me as well. It continues to grow the channel and helps me out a ton, and I cannot thank you enough for that support. I love to answer your questions, so if you have them, drop them down below. I usually respond pretty quickly, and I also try to give a detailed answer to give you the reasons why I am giving you the advice that I am. With all that out of the way, let's hop into Week 12's tight end rankings. Sitting atop the mountain, once again, it is Travis Kelce. He posted his second 3-touchdown performance of the season, absolutely destroying the Chargers for 115 yards. It doesn't matter who he is facing, his floor is top 3. Number 2 is Mark Andrews. He returned from a 2-week absence to post a solid stat line against Carolina. His 63 yards were actually the most that he's had since back in week 6. I think Andrews has a great chance to break his 3-game scoreless streak against Jacksonville. George Kittle is up next. He's at number 3. He has been on a rampage over his last 5 games, finishing in the top 6 in 4 of those, scoring 4 tutties in them. CMC's addition has been so big for him. It has allowed him to have extra room on the field to work with, and I don't think he's going to be slowing down anytime soon. TJ Hockenson is next. He headlines tier number 2. He had his 3rd straight game with 9 or more targets, and he could have had a big day had he not dropped 1, maybe 2 touchdowns in the first quarter against the Cowboys. The Patriots have allowed the 7th most points per game to tight end so far, making Hawk a juicy bounce back candidate. Pat Freiermuth rounds out my top 5. He got back into the top 5 for his 2nd time in his last 4 games last week. He has done so without reaching the end zone, which I think is very important. He's compiled 35 targets over his last 4, and the Colts allow 10 points a game to the position, so I love his upside. Starting off tier 3, I have Dalton Schultz. He was lost in the shuffle against Minnesota, but I believe that he bounces back against the Giants. He's seen 5 targets or more in 4 straight games, which is plenty in a high-powered Dallas offense. Dawson Knox is in at 7. He gets Detroit. He has seen his targets grow in every game since back in week number 8, and he has plenty of upside against the Lions. With 127 yards over his last 2, his floor is solid as well. Greg Dulcich drops a little bit. He's at the top of tier 4. He is falling victim to the ineptitude of Russell Wilson right now, but with Jerry Jeudy banged up, he is likely to still be the number 2 in this offense. He's only bottomed out once in 5 tries so far this year, so I would not try to move off of him just yet. Hayden Hurst is up next at number 9. He remains a constant in Cincinnati's offense, but the volume has not been there over the last 3 weeks, even with Jamar Chase being out. He's gonna get you probably 30 yards or so, but at the tight end position, even that floor has value. Foster Moreau rounds out my top 10. He has racked up 30 yards or more in every single game but 1 this season, and he has also got some upside this week against Seattle. No one allows more points a game to the position than the Hawks. Juwan Johnson is in at 11. He has now entered must-start territory with 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games, and he's recorded 3 straight 40-plus yard performances. Even in a brutal matchup here, I am rolling with him. Evan Engram is at the top of tier 5. He continues to have his peaks and valleys, and he's coming off back-to-back stinkers against Vegas and Kansas City. I think the Jags, however, really struggle moving the ball on the ground against the Ravens. That opens up the passing game for Engram. I think he's going to be called on often and have a decent showing. Tyler Higbee is my lucky number 13. He may be without Matthew Stafford, so not so lucky, which would be a massive downgrade in an already poor offense. We buy the volume because Higbee has 8 targets in back-to-back games. Tier 6 is up next, and David Njoku starts it off there. He is welcomed back into my rankings after about a month off. He did not have an impact against the Bills, but he did look healthy when he was in, and he should see more snaps this week. He's been a big-time producer all year long, and I do not think it takes him long to get back to that level. To 15, and the last tight end that I have in week 12, it is Logan Thomas, who has 10 targets in his last 2 games, and he's coming off a top 10 performance against the Texans. The Falcons have allowed tight end 1 numbers all season long, so he is a solid gamble to take. A couple of guys that just missed the cut include Robert Tonyan traveling to Philadelphia and Gerald Everett against Arizona. If Everett plays, he will probably be in my updated rankings on Saturday. Great time to remind you guys, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button for me to continue moving the channel forward. And now let's hop in to defenses. My number 1 defense of the week is the San Francisco 49ers. They are coming off a top 6 performance against Arizona and have racked up 6 sacks in back-to-back games while forcing 3 turnovers. I don't think it matters who's the quarterback for New Orleans in this game. They are going to struggle. The Denver Broncos are up next at 2. They travel to Carolina. And at the top of tier 2, I have the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Jacksonville. At 4, it is the Dallas Cowboys in a matchup with the Giants. The last team I have in my top 5 are the Buffalo Bills. They travel to Detroit. And at 6, I have the Philadelphia Eagles in a home matchup with the Pack. The Eagles have been a top 12 unit in 4 straight weeks and 7 in 10 tries on the season. The Packers have shown life lately, but I am not convinced that their offense is fixed, and I think Philly proves that here. At the top of tier 3, it is the Kansas City Chiefs. They get a matchup with the Rams, who are likely going to be without Matthew Stafford. If you thought that the Rams offense was in trouble without Cooper Kupp, just imagine what it's going to look like with Bryce Perkins, yeah, that guy, at the helm. In at 8 are the New York Jets in a home matchup with the Bears, and the New England Patriots travel to Minnesota to take on my Vikings. They are in at 9. To round out my top 10, at the top of tier 4 are the Washington Commanders. They have a home matchup with Atlanta, and the Commanders are coming off back-to-back top 2 performances. They forced 6 turnovers, scored a touchdown, and compiled 6 sacks in that span. Atlanta just lost Kyle Pitts, so if they're even more one-dimensional than they have been, and that does not work, it could spell disaster. The Indianapolis Colts are in at 11. They have a home matchup with the Steelers, and in the same game, I have that Steelers defense against Indy. I think this is a low-scoring affair for the most part. Both offenses will struggle against better than average defenses. To the top of tier number 5, I have the Cincinatti Bengals. They get a Tennessee team on the road. And at 14 are the Tampa Bay Bucs against Cleveland. The last defense I have as startable in week number 12 are the Miami Dolphins against Houston. They have stopped the run pretty successfully all year, and that is pretty much the only thing that Houston is good at. If Miami can put the brakes on Dameon Pierce, they're going to be able to pin their ears back and take advantage of a subpar passing attack. A couple defenses that just missed the cut are the New Orleans Saints against San Francisco, the Tennessee Titans against Cincinnati, and the Minnesota Vikings against New Orleans. And that is everything for the video today. Really hope you enjoyed the content, and I hope you learned something. Let me know what you thought about the rankings. If you have any questions, I would love to be able to help you out with them. Drop them down below and leave a comment as well. I'd like to give a big shout out to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. It means so very much to me. Helps me keep it going when we have those weeks where we do not see a lot of growth. So thank you guys for keeping the faith with me and continuing to move forward. We're gonna keep growing as we push our way to 1,000 subscribers. This is Relentless Press. I'm your host, Abraham Opatz, and I will see you next time.